Unfortunately, I'm still in the process of figuring out what form my more analytical Destiny video will take. I'm not sure whether to conduct the video game equivalent of a close reading or to frame it more as a critical assessment. To keep this channel from suffering a dearth of matter in the meanwhile, I've decided to continue familiarizing myself with the in-game story content. Again, this video functions as a summary, and thus I still won't be covering the grimoire. However, I will list all grimoire cards relevant to Rasputin that I know of at the very end of the video. You'll have to make of them what you will yourself, but at least I won't be sending you to Bungie.net to read them, like Destiny does. So, let's begin. You've just discovered a hive breeding ground on Earth, the first one in centuries, and alerted the Vanguard to its existence. But before heading to the moon to learn what the hive has in store for your planet's already depleted population, you return to old Russia to investigate the doings of the House of Devils, a group of Fallen with a large presence in the Cosmodrome. The Fallen are tearing into machines, looking for something, and Ghost insists it's in our best interest to find whatever they're looking for before they do. Ghost informs you as you land that there is heavy Fallen activity at the Forgotten Shore, miles from your point of arrival, too far to reach on foot. Fortunately, there is a vehicle grid to which you can sync, enabling you to summon ground transport from your ship. Now that you've acquired your trusty Sparrow, you race towards the shore, where you discover that the Fallen are attempting to amplify a signal. Ghost scans the first amplifier to see what the Fallen are transmitting, but the signal is distorted. The second isn't any clearer, but both are linked to an old array complex, the Skywatch. Deep within the Skywatch, the Fallen have erected an automaton to access the old Russian machines there. Something is making access very difficult for them, however. You defend Ghost from waves of Fallen attackers while he takes back what information the House of Devils managed to steal, and then destroy the automaton by shooting its exposed core. Ghost explains that the Fallen's efforts were hindered by an active firewall. A war mind, an AI built to defend Earth, has ostensibly survived the collapse. His name? Rasputin. You don't have to wait long before encountering the Russian war mind again. There are reports that a team of Guardians went dark near the Skywatch. Dead Orbit, one of the tower's 3 factions, tasked the Guardians with opening a hidden array. Opening that array could reconnect Earth's remaining natives with other colonies in the system, so you head to the Skywatch to finish the job Dead Orbit's Guardians could not. On your way to the Fallen Guardians, you pass through the breeding ground where you first learned of the Hive's presence on Earth. It's now empty. It turns out the Hive have been spilling out onto the surface to engage in combat with the Fallen. Considering that both alien races supposedly belong to the darkness, it's a little odd that there should be open warfare between them. The Fallen Guardians' ghosts have been captured by the Fallen. Those ghosts still hold the codes you need to open the array, so you recover them the only way you know how. Negotiation. With a hand cannon. The first ghost is dead, as is the second, but the third yet holds the codes. With the codes in your possession, you set off in search of the array. The control station is in Fallen hands, a situation quickly remedied. Once you have taken the station for yourself, you deploy Ghost to interface with the rear computers. He negotiates the crypto systems and verifies the shore-resistant security lattice, and the codes work. The array begins to open. Unfortunately, its activation draws the attention of the Hive, and plenty of it. Only after defeating a powerful knight does the Hive's assault end. You return to Ghost and he explains that the array station is under the control of the Russian war mind you met earlier, and that it's connecting to defense grids all across the system. On the monitors you can see images of the Moon, Venus, and Mars. It's unclear whether Rasputin had a way out of Earth already, but if he did not, then by opening the array, you've just let loose on the system an AI whose motives you do not know. You visit the Moon to do battle with the Hive, and Venus to answer the stranger's summons, and you almost forget about Rasputin. It's not until you begin seeking the Black Garden on Mars that you encounter the AI again. There are legends that the buried city of Freehold gave birth to technological wonders, and the tower's cryptarchs have wondered for years what hidden treasures might remain there. That the Cabal have refrained from destroying Freehold suggests they found something valuable somewhere inside the city. You track the Cabal forces to an area called the Hollows and find an active feed that gives Ghost access to the Cabal defense net. Ghost learns that the recon team is stationed at the top of the Clover Spray skyscraper. You make your way there. Clover Spray was once a center for scientific advancement, for interplanetary defense, for the development of AI, and for research on the Traveler itself. Whatever information still exists inside these forsaken walls could prove very valuable indeed. You climb the complex, fighting a veritable army as you do, until you reach the Clover Spray Exoscience Wing. The Cabal recon forces are there to meet you, however. You do battle with them and defeat their commander, Brachus Thaon. You're free now to investigate an ancient machine sitting in the center of the room. It dates all the way back to the Golden Age. Ghost interfaces with the machine and discovers it was once connected to the Martian Warmind, but something prevents him from gathering any more information than that. The same thing that prevented the Cabal. Rasputin.
He's everywhere now.
Ever leave a control point in the Crucible, only for it to be reclaimed by the enemy the moment you're gone? The Clover Spray is no different. As soon as you reach orbit, the Cabal retake the complex. Following that, they risk letting Scion Flayers out of their cages to help them gain access to the Martian Warmind's cortex, which Rasputin was determined to protect. By the time you make it to the Hollows, the Scion Flayers have already reached the top of the Clover Spray complex, or the Dust Palace. You head straight for the Exoscience Wing to keep them from overpowering Rasputin. The Cabal have anticipated your intervention and locked the door to the complex behind them. As Ghost attempts to hack through the door, he realizes that something is interfering with security protocols. You hear the familiar voice of the Russian Warmind. Is it the Scion Flayers working against you, or is it Rasputin himself? If it is the latter, is he obstructing your progress through the Dust Palace because he wants to deal with the Flayers without your help? It isn't clear. You fend off a Cabal ambush, and Ghost successfully hacks open the door. You continue to make your way through the upper levels of the complex until you reach another closed door. This one was shut a little less elegantly than the first. This means that the Cabal are getting impatient, and you are getting close. You make it to the Exoscience Wing, only to come up against yet another closed door. This one appears to be sealed by the Scion Flayers themselves. Ghost reveals that the Flayers have gained access to the AI's cortex, which would suggest that they have at least partial control over the facility's systems. Once through, you eliminate the Cabal forces protecting the Scion Flayers, and Ghost ejects them from the cortex. There's Vatch, weak to solar damage, Pneumok, weak to void, and Kola, vulnerable to arc damage. While attempting to defeat Vatch, you disintegrate yourself with a misplaced rocket. Twice. But finally you succeed in coaxing Vatch off the edge. Unfortunately, curiosity demands that you follow him. As you plummet to the bottom, your fellow Guardians kill Pneumok, and together the three of you defeat Kola, the last of them. Ghost is ecstatic.
Nice work.
Once Cade 6, the Hunter Vanguard, learns of your victory, he notes that the Scion Flayers must be more powerful than he thought to be able to tangle with Rasputin. He's more determined than ever to keep track of where the Cabal deploy them. And that's great, but wait a minute. Aren't we forgetting something? Is anyone keeping an eye on Rasputin? My accent is actually Australian. However, it is often remarked that South Australians have the most British of Australian accents. I am intensely flattered, but I feel like I should confess that I add a little bass to my voice in the editing process. Without it,
I'm afraid my voice sounds like this.
Thanks. I've never been to the loot cave though. I still don't know where it is, or was. Any purples or yellows I have were gained from vendors, bounties, or in the wild. I'm sorry you were disappointed. I would love to eventually make videos that conform to your expectations. In the beginning moments of the campaign, I found that whenever I paid attention, I didn't get very much from the transaction, and so I grew to be pretty frugal. These two videos and any summaries to come are for people who want to acquire a cleaner sense of Destiny's events. And as to it all being pretty obvious, was it not Alexander Pope who said, "True wit is nature to advantage dressed, what oft was thought, but ne'er so well expressed." Thank you very much for watching, and a special thank you to anyone who liked my last video and or subscribed to my channel. I hope to cover all of Destiny's missions and strikes as I have done so here. Rasputin is easily the most interesting of them, but future videos will see the Fallen, Vex, and Cabal arcs synopsized in the same way. And here, for the patient few still watching, are the grimoire cards related to Rasputin. Enjoy.